Hello, this is Ask Me About Birds, and I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to RNG using a Mac and the Zoom Gene timer on Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So right now we're going to go for Giratina, was the one I was going to look for, and Giratina is just a simple Method 1 RNG. So pretty easy for the video. The only weird thing about Giratina, Palkia, or Dialga, which I cannot pronounce, is that you can't use Chatot to chatter during it. So you have to use Irwin calls or Elm calls, whichever one, because you can only bring Arceus to the extra place, the Shinjo Ruins. So right now I am searching for 25 plus. I didn't RG my TID specifically for Giratina, so the best you can hope for in this case is 25 plus, and I just expanded it, made it 20 plus. And because I have to use the Elm calls, I want one where the frame is very low, so I don't have to do a ton of calls. So if you see the one with 28, I'm going to choose that one. That one seems to be the best one. Timid works out well. So then it's going to be on frame 28, as you can see here. The frame type is Method 1. I just selected the frame there. You head over to Time Adjacents. I use 35 seconds. It just gives you time to it gives you enough time to go through both screens and press A, essentially. And calibrated delay, it's going to be around 500, 400, 600, around that number. My target delay is 725, which I got from the Gen 4 Seed Inspector. The calibrated second is 14. That should always be 14. There's no other reason for it to not be 14. And then target second 35, which is the one I chose. And I calculated times, and you can see I'm going to be using March 23rd, 2014, 5 a.m., 57:35. So I'm just going to go through the event here. Get teleported. And here we are, Shinjo Ruins. Now I'm doing this on an emulator just so I can record it. It's exactly the same for on the DS. DS Lite is the easiest for Gen 4 RNG because you can put in a Gen 3 cart like Emerald, Fire Red, something like that, which will actually change your delays from even to odd. Another way to change your delays from even to odd is to just move the year up 1 or down 1. It'll just change the delay from even to odd. So at this point you can choose Dialga, Palkia, or Giratina. I choose Giratina because I think its shiny looks the coolest. It looks all inverse colors. But that's just personal preference. You can pick any of these three to RNG. It's all the same method. Method 1 is used for most stationary legendaries. You can also use K for Method K or Method J for Pearl, Plat, Diamond. For Heart Gold, it's just called K. And that lets you just use a synchronizer as well. So here I save the game, close the ROM, and bring up my date and time. So then I just put in the time that it wants me to put in. So I put in 56, 55, and then start my timer on 57. Because, as you can see, it says minutes before target on the Zone G timer. So you want to set it the minute of your target minute, essentially. Then you start the ROM or your game when the first timer goes down. And then you want to start your save file when the second timer goes down. There we go. Then you just head over to the PokeGear. In this case, I'm using the roamers to check which delay I hit. So as you can see, Raikou is on route 43. Entei is on route 45, I believe. Yep, 45. And I'm just making sure for the roamers, you kind of have to have your search window kind of small. In which case, so then that shows me that I hit delay 688. And now I'm just making the window a little smaller just to check if that's the right one I hit. If your window's too wide, you might hit the wrong second or the wrong delay. So make sure it's not too big. And you don't even have to use the roamers. You can just use Elm calls or Irwin calls if you prefer to use that. I just find that the roamers are a little easier. So now that I know I've hit that delay, I'm going to change my year to 2013. I'm going to move it down one so I start hitting odd delays instead. And I'm going to update my timer, which is where you just put in whatever delay you hit, you just hit update, and it automatically changes your calibrated delay for you. There we go. So then I just move the year down to change my delays from even to odd, because on 2014 I was hitting even, and I need an odd delay. But I do this process several times. Since I'm recording this, it makes my emulator lag, which makes it really hard to hit delays. So I'm just going to pause the video and hit it later and pick back up. Alright, so I'm back. I've hit the delay. As you can see, 725. Oh, well, I just switched the screen too fast. But 725. The roamers were on route 34 and 46, which confirms that I am on the right delay, which means the right seed. So then I'm just going to continue to do Irwin calls, find out where I am. I get a P response. How are you is P. I'm so glad you called, or calling is K. And then your escapades is E. So I get 2 P's in a row, which shows that I'm on frame 2 and 3. And then here's the boring part where I just keep going down. I have to do 26 or 27 or 25 calls to Irwin to advance my frame. But I'm just going to cut this part out. It's pretty boring. And I'll pick back up when I am